Hey there. Are you feeling like your life is a mess right now and you want someone to save you? I know that feeling. Oh boy, do I know that feeling well. Having come from a pretty dysfunctional family myself, and when I say dysfunctional, we're not talking here about the fact that I was beaten or raped. We're just talking about the fact that I had some pretty regular, emotionally immature parents, as many of us do, whose parenting style was, at the best of times, inconsistent. I knew what it was like to be loved and adored one minute and shouted out the next for not actually behaving the way that was appropriate or they wanted me to be at the same time. And I'm sharing this with you in case you can resonate, because whatever's going on in your life right now and how much you feel your life is a mess and you want others to save you is going to relate very much to these early relationships that you had with your own parents, because they symbolize the masculine and the feminine aspects of the divine. And as a result of that, what ends up happening is we mirror our expectation of life based on how our expectations were met when we were children, how our needs were met when we were babies and children. Now, why is this important today? Because when you're looking to be saved, it's really important to recognize that there is only one person to save you, and that is you. And I'm sure you've heard that all before. You've probably even heard that everything you need is inside of you. And if you're anything like me, you've pulled your hair out many a night, those dark nights of the soul, when you're going, if it's all inside of me, why can't I find it? Why does it seem like I attract one drama after another? And that's what I wanted to speak to you today. Sometimes the whys aren't so important as we think they are. We can spend an awful lot of time trying to find out why, when reality is we want things to change, we want to feel better, but we either don't feel we deserve to feel better or we don't feel that we're worthy of feeling better, and as a result we have to go back and look at the whys so that we can protect ourselves from ever experiencing these things again. I'll tell you something, after 16 years of being a yoga teacher on a self-development path since the age of 14, the more navel gazing you do, the more navel gazing there is to do. So there comes a point when you have to draw a line and say enough is enough. We are multi-dimensional beings. We don't just exist in the realm of the spiritual or in the realm of the physical, but this earth is a physical earth, and therefore we need to deal with our physical issues first and foremost in order to be able to access what else is out there for us. And the way that we do that is to look at all areas of our life that we can improve physically, and to look at what blocks are occurring that could actually be standing in the way of having a better experience. Now let's go back to this idea of life being a mess. I want to invite you to understand that if you're reaching constantly outside of yourself for someone to save you, or you're looking for an answer beyond what you can do for yourself today, you're always going to be left wanting. I, like you, spent a long time going from one teacher to the next, looking for the answer that was going to make me wake up one day and suddenly feel like, wow, everything's just as I want it. And what I realized was all any other person could do was remind me of what I already know. And so I started to work with what I've got, and this is what I am offering you. So, having created choices in my life that have left a legacy that were challenging, having had challenging life experiences happen to me where external support from family members and friends was very limited, I came to realize that I was resenting the world for the fact that no one was stepping up to support me when there really was only one person to support me, and that was me. So here's what I discovered. If you are having an issue with your life not working out the way you want it to, then this is because your subconscious programming and your conscious will are at odds. Now you can spend as much time as you like shifting your subconscious programming, and there are lots of methods out there, including the emotional mental detox method, which is what I'm trained in. But essentially, if you don't look at the physical practicalities of how you are living your life, what you're putting in your body, what you're putting on your body, the state of your house, what you do to distract yourself, how consciously you're living from moment to moment, and how much time you're actually spending in shadow work, which means trying to deal with things by processing, and how much time you're actually spending shifting your vibration. If you don't actually look at those things first, nothing is really going to change in a fast and consistent way. So here's my offering to you. It is always helpful to work with someone else to give you the confidence to show you how to work with the tools that are yours, that you can work with anytime you want, just by reading a book or listening to an audio, but actually supporting you to deal with challenging situations as they arise, and to get you used to using your tools, a bit like stabilizer wheels, until you realize you don't need them anymore. You're ready to go solo. That's what people like me are around for. We're here to help you to reach a higher vibration in yourself, and then to be able to maintain it. And this is what I needed to do in my life. I really needed to know that I could do this for myself, and then no one could take it away from me. And yes, I did work with coaches to support me to reach that place myself. Where has it got me to? It's got me to a place of self-acceptance. It's got me to a place where I can love and approve of myself no matter what. Where I can take counsel in my own mind, and I can trust my own inner being over the voice of anyone else. And I know that whatever problem is ahead of me in my perception, I can deal with it. I have the ability to deal with it. I can deal with the challenges that are coming ahead. And I am relying on me. Now, when other people show up in my life, they either mirror this or they don't. And if they're not mirroring it, then this shows me where I have more work to do in myself. And this isn't hard work. This is just something else that needs my love. But for the most part, I see constantly the higher frequencies, the higher perceptions of my experience with myself being mirrored by those around me. And so the better it gets, the better it gets. Just like the worse it gets, the worse it gets. My suggestion to you is that if you want things to change, then you need to be the person to change them. And this is not about an iron will. This is not about willpower. This is about you being willing to practice radical self-love. And that looks different at every stage of the game as to what you're going to end up doing. So if you feel as though you are ready for a change in your life, if you feel as though you want things to be different, but you just don't know how to take this mess that is your life and to make yourself your own saviour, then why not book some time in my calendar and arrange to speak to me? I understand that finances might be the biggest issue in your life. And that is why I have created a free product, which is yours just for signing up to my mailing list, which will sort your finances out. Now that is a gift that allows you the freedom to then be able to get whatever other support you want. And every time you work with the Prosperity Challenge, new and good things can happen. So, if you know that finances are what's stopping you moving forward, then I recommend that you, first and foremost, set an intention of how much money you need to create in order to be in a better position than where you are now, and you are able then to take the next step, which is book some time with me. And that is to sign up to my website and download the Rosy Glow, download the Prosperity Challenge. If you know it's not finances, but it's something else that is challenging you and makes you feel overwhelmed, stressed out, unable to cope, unable to sleep, experiencing panic attacks, lashing out at everybody, then why not book a call with me? If you are prepared to invest time, you will need 4 to 5 hours a week if you are working either with one-to-one or group coaching. You go for as little as 2 hours a week if you're doing something that's off the shelf. You will need to be willing to love yourself through your challenges. You will need to invest finances in working with me, and you will need to commit to doing the work to see the results. If all of those things apply and you can, then please get in touch, book some time. Let's look at what we can do to support you to move from the struggle to the thriving paradigm, because that is my joy. And everything that I overcome in my dysfunctional life of the past, I willingly share with you. The better it gets, the better it gets.